Hello and welcome to Clear Waters Radio and to our TV version recording of the She Empower show. So today we are so honored, Sanaa and I, to have two wonderful young ladies that are a part of the nonprofit organization SheEmpowHers here with us today, and we are going to let you know who they are and let them introduce themselves in just a short while. Now, as you know, Sanaa has already in the Monday episode let you know all about what we will be discussing today. You know, here at Lunchtime Conversations, this is our perfect time to free our minds, get together as individuals, as a group, with our teachers, with our mentor, however we want to get together and get around the topics for young people, about young people. And so I am now going to turn over to Sanaa, and she's going to let you know exactly what we are going to be unpacking today, and also opening up the space for you to follow up with your opinions, with your audio text, with your videos about the topic, so that you can also contribute to the conversation. But today, we're going to have our young ladies let us know their thoughts, their insights, what they thought may have been, could have been, should have been, and we'll also get in on the conversation to explore deeply how our topic for today really impacts our today and our future. So without further ado, I introduce you to the Executive Director of SheEmpowHers, Sanaa Gardiner. Hi Sanaa, how are you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much. So again, yes, welcome. Today's conversation is one that I think needs to be talked about more, especially for young people today in society. All right, so today we are talking about self-assurance. All right, so this isn't confidence for show. This isn't some made up bravado or pretending to have it all together, but that belief in yourself that remains when things don't go perfectly. So today we have two guests, both from the SheEmpowHers group, and you guys can introduce yourselves, starting with the person to my right.
Good day everyone, my name is Samara Moxey. I'm in the 12th grade. SheEmpowHers has really helped me on my journey of learning about business, leadership, and all these things I need to know.
Awesome,
Wonderful.
awesome. Hi Samara. Yay.
To my left.
My name is Dariel. I am in the 11th grade, and I am new to SheEmpowHers, but I am open and eager to getting to know what it is all about and just getting deep into the values of the organization.
I tell you, I love it, I love it, I love it, Samara and Dariel. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Great. So today we are having a lunchtime conversation. So we'll be exploring more about what self-assurance really means, why it's different, and how it affects decision making, peer pressure, and resilience, as well as they will give their advice on it, how they feel about it. And you guys can also, or have also, put in your comments and your thoughts on it as well.
Okay, so as some of our audience is sitting listening, and you say the word self-assuredness, and you made a distinction between self-assuredness and confidence, because I imagine that sometimes confidence can be interpreted as something more about the vanity of being sure about yourself. So what we're talking about today is actually being self-assured, not having to necessarily depend on external things,
Yes.
to make you feel as if you have value, worth, or that you can do, you can be. That's what we're going at?
Yeah, so again, confidence, you can have confidence in different situations. You can have confidence before you go on a show. You can have confidence as you take your driving test. Those are different places that you can have confidence. But self-assurance is that ability to trust yourself in almost any situation, in your thoughts, in your values, and even in your sense of worth.
Okay. All right, I like that. And so as we are having lunch, guys, I hope you have settled in, because we're going to really try to get to the bottom of why sometimes we do not have self-assuredness, and how, without knowing it, sometimes people may have come along in our lives and robbed us of our self-assurance. And so we see ourselves behaving in certain ways. We see ourselves kind of melting back, minimizing, sitting at the back of the class, not wanting to get involved. Or we see ourselves sometimes taking a different route, where we become too assertive and too bold, and we start to bully, because what we're really doing is trying to protect ourselves, because something happened maybe along the line that made us doubt ourselves, and our self-assurance became challenged. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to give you a chance to look in the mirror. All right? Why? To see if you may be leaning towards strengthening yourself in assuredness, or whether you may need to do so, and you may have been acting in certain ways, thinking in certain ways, that eventually may have limited you from being all that you can be. And so if you know that you want to do great things, if you know you don't want to be what they call the conk, the conk, right? You don't, okay, let me fix that. You don't want to be the person that everybody thinks that they can just take advantage of, and you are almost marginalized, considered second best, and you allow it just because you don't understand your strength and your value. So if you want to make sure that you know who you are, so that you can protect your future, so that you can show up and be the top of the class, be the top of the volleyball team. Don't be afraid to be the leader in a basketball team, or to join the team because someone said, oh, girls don't do that, or whatever it may be. So Sanaa is ready. She's done the research, and so she's done all the work for us. We're going to bring it to you, and then we're going to dive in with our thoughts. Samara and Dariel are going to share their thoughts, and we're looking forward to hearing yours as well. So let us know some more. What did you discover about this topic, and how it relates to our present generation, especially, and the things they're exposed to?
Exactly. And the thing is, we're having this conversation with young people, all right? You guys are still in high school, so you're still discovering yourself. And high school especially is that critical period for identity, for decision making, as well as emotional growth. You know, students face a lot of academic pressure. You guys face a lot of peer influence, social comparison, expectations. You know, so having self-insurance, all right, it helps students navigate, you know, these pressures that build resilience, all right? And we know that in research, all right, because studies with psychology show that students with strong belief experience, they have lower stress levels, they have higher academic engagement, and it acts as that, you know, protective factor against a lot of things that you might face today. You know, you have anxiety, burnout, and low self-esteem. So I want to hear from you guys. What are ways like self-insurance you think can positively affect, you know, your academic or your personal life? Starting with you, Samara.
So, self-assurance can positively affect students in many ways, academically and personally. Self-assurance makes students confident and trusting in the work they do, their answers for their tests, their grades, and the ways they conduct themselves at school. Now, personally, self-assurance ensures that students are confident in the way they look, act, their mannerisms, and the way they conduct themselves everywhere they go. They know that they matter, and they don't allow anyone to bother or hurt them with things that don't matter.
Wow. So, based on what you're saying, this person, self-assurance impacts them right down to how they answer a question on a test. So, nobody is going to get 100% all the time, right? But they at least give themselves the opportunity to believe that I can do this, and it's okay to do my best. I may not get 100, but I definitely will do my best. Take for instance, I'll just kind of put myself out there. When I was in high school, I was good at literature, English. You know, let me write the story. I got that, right? But math, I could take a minute. You know, I'm gonna ask Mr. Thomas, could you do that again, please? Could you explain that again, please? Okay, so if this is this, so why is this that? That was me in math. I was trying to make it literature. I wasn't thinking about science. Like, it's just what it is, right? But what you're saying is self-assurance would tell me and could tell somebody who's listening in, listen, you may not be the 100% student in math. You may not be the person who writes the story where they say, oh my gosh, I gotta read your story today. That doesn't take anything off you. There are other things you may do so massively, mighty, great, and powerfully, like cooking. Right? You get in a food nutrition class, man, you blow minds. But when you're self-assured, it seems as if what you're saying, Samara, is it helps you to have less comparison and to be okay with your growth and your journey of learning. I love that. Cool.
Like that, yes, and wonderful. Because again, we're looking more at sort of that long-term approval for ourselves instead of just like that short-term, you know? Because again, you can get 100s across the board, but you get that 160% or that 150% and your confidence level drop, you know? But when you're self-assured, that pushes your academic influence, it pushes your academic resilience. It makes you want to keep going, you know? So I love to hear stuff like that. How do you feel about it as well, Dariel?
Self-assurance as a student is valid in the way we remember our self-worth. It's not based on our grades during moments of disappointment, such as receiving low marks, struggling to grasp certain academical concepts, or dealing with academic helplessness, like feeling as though you're less than because of what you have on a piece of paper. In a world where we feel the need to be perfect all the time, remembering that we are human, and with extra steps you can achieve what seem unreachable, we could accomplish our goals that feel so far apart. And in regards to a student's personal life, say someone has the latest iPhone, all of these material belongings, they get whatever they want whenever, and you may feel envious, you may feel less than, that you're not as cool or you're not as belonging, you're not as deserving of friendship because you don't have these things. Self-assurance will remind you that you do not need the newest tech gadgets in order to feel worthy, when character can open more doors than what is in one's bank account.
Now that was powerful as well. Because, Samara, what do you think about what Dariel just said? I mean, she said this point, I mean, she said so much, but she said this: your self-worth isn't just condensed into what you get on a piece of paper. But yet, we know that so many people judge and treat people according to what's on that piece of paper. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen where if someone is really intellectually, intellectually, academically have a great grades? Do you think that sometimes among some situations, not just in the classroom, even at home, that particular person, when there's a conversation in the room, they'll say, oh, Janita is just the star. And the other person who may be good at something else, but not necessarily academically, because the person who's speaking doesn't have a paper to show to say, hey, look at this, 5-star, 100%. So they don't speak about or recognize the other person. But you are saying that even in that scenario, self-assuredness will remind you that you are more than that temporary grade on a piece of paper. But have you ever experienced where people have been favored because they get good grades?
That's fine.
Okay, you have to speak up because some of our audience listening on the radio. So tell me, give me an example if you could recall anything.
I'd say students that get higher marks, I see that because they're more favored by teachers, that they're more, I'd say, arrogant and such, in a way that they feel as though the grades that they get on their paper makes them above the rest of their peers, even though they're learning the same thing, though they may grasp it easier.
Now, Sanaa and Samara, what do you think about that? See, we having conversations, guys. We having lunchtime conversations, so let's talk about it. I mean, let's talk about it. Have you known anyone, or have you ever had a good grade and kind of felt like, hey, yeah, I am a little bit up there, and so sitting over there who normally gets D's and laughs all the time in class and is a disruption, not only are they just getting D's, I really can't spend much time on them. I really, lunchtime, I don't really choose you to have a conversation with. I kind of disqualify you all around because of your grades. Have you known anyone who has tipped into arrogance because of good grades?
I've known a few people like that. They tend to I know a few people like that. They tend to cut you out of their lives because they believe that they're above you and that you're not on their level. They don't need to waste their time working with you or even trying to look at you in a way. They believe that you should get onto their level before you can even touch their feet, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that way as well. Even as a teacher myself, you have to watch the disparity with the way you treat students, those who have higher grades compared to those who have lower grades, because everyone has something that they are great at. God gives everyone an ability, whether that is academics or whether that's something outside of academics. If it's something that you have to change the way in your teaching to include everyone, so whether it's maybe today, it's not a day that we're all focusing on writing. Maybe today is a day that we watch a video or we make a video or we speak the entire time. You have conversation, debates, things like that. Because again, not everyone is an all-rounder. Not everyone will reach those high levels in their academic lives. So again, you have to be able to watch the way you view yourself as well as the way others view themselves. But that's why we focus on self-assuredness, because you see people treat you the way that they do, maybe because of your grades, maybe because they say that you're not on their level, but you would have that self-assuredness to know that, hey, maybe I don't have the best grades, but I am still good at something. I am still proud of myself based off the standards that I have set for myself, So it's just making sure that you know who you are, all right? And you can assure yourself on your beliefs and on your thoughts. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was, Dariel, you said something earlier about the phone, having, the newest phone, the latest gadget, and people thinking that they're better than you based off what's in your bank account. And I've seen that, again, that's risen higher today in your society, you guys in high school compared to when I was in college. We didn't have we did have social media, but it wasn't as heavily edited or as heavily performative as it is today. You guys have influencers who have like 1 million followers, who have all their pictures are edited. Their pictures on, private planes, private jets. They have the newest bike, stuff like that. And we know that research today shows that heavy social media use, that causes an increase in like comparison and lower self-esteem. How do you guys feel about today's heavy usage of social media and how that really and truly affects your confidence and your self-assurance?
Dariel? In regards to physical beauty, I'd say social media influences the way impressionable teenagers view their bodies and deem what they perceive as beauty. This is harmful to growing minds with bodies that are growing and maturing along with them. Usually the comparison to these online personalities, these superficial entities that are essentially products for large brands made to make you want to buy this item to look like the person on your screen. This can ultimately just cause teenagers to stare in the mirror for too long, and they don't see themselves as beautiful or worthy. They can develop body dysmorphia, eating disorders, low self-esteem, etc. There are many young girls that don't know how beautiful they are, and this is why I love that SheEmpowHers programs allow young girls to build confidence within themselves so that they wouldn't have to second guess their own worth by who they're watching on social media.
Wonderful. I can admit in myself that growing up, again, like I said, we had social media, but it wasn't as heavy as you guys have it today. And even in my limited social media era, I can imagine myself growing up and having that, those comparison, that's sometimes that low self-esteem, because I'm just comparing myself with the people around me, not even focusing on the world, because now you're open to a lot more people. So while social media is a good thing, it can also be negative.
Yeah.
Now, personally, you can be honest, you don't have to tell me, but how has, I guess, social media affected you personally in your confidence journey or in your self-assuredness journey? Samara, how do you feel about it personally?
I feel like a lot of things on social media tend to be fake, as Dariel said. They edit their bodies and make it seem like they're so perfect when in reality they aren't. And so for me, that has given me quite a bit of a problem, like my self-image. But overall, I have learned to overcome that and to view myself as beautiful, because as God created me in his own image. So I believe that I am perfectly and beautifully made by him.
Yeah. And I truly love as well that SheEmpowHers has this asset, this focus ingrained into what you do, right? Coming out of the box, episode 1, we're talking about this. And I think it's why I'm celebrating it so is because if you have, first of all, going back to when people take on an arrogance because of their accomplishments, right? So now we have a negative. We have something that could poison any environment, whether it's school. So now we have people not liking people, and that's one element that's opened up so that there's friction, contention. You can't have a good day, right? Why this girl don't like me? Why this girl always cutting her eye at me? What the problem is, right? And so we have that. And then we have the social media aspect where now we have us questioning ourselves. And Dariel, you said this. You said, we are now judging ourselves and our bodies that is still growing. It's still in the growing phase. I really want to highlight that to somebody, somebody who's tuned in, someone who's listening in. You are 14 years of age. All right, that's a little studio sound on the outside, but we're good. You're 14 years of age. Right? And that's where SheEmpowHers, this particular group is 14 to 18. Mm-hmm. And you have a slim build. You have a very slim build. And you don't have the type of chest, breast growth like some of your classmates, some of your cousins. That's just not what you have, right? You're more slender. You don't have hips that go all the way out from the back and all of that. And sometimes you body shame yourself. You look into a mirror and you just think, why is my body like this? And you're thinking and you're wishing that it was like this one or that one. And you're never happy about your clothing. When nobody's looking, you try to stuff things in certain areas. But can I tell you that you are on a journey? What you see today is not the final product. And I can tell you, after all of my years, the most important body is a healthy body. If your body is healthy, that's the most important body. But I just want to encourage you that, like Samara said, God created all of us in his image. What he spoke about each of us, that's our frame. That's who we are. That's what we grow into. All right. And And I want you to understand that you are unique and one of a kind, and that nobody in this world can say that a solid body, a slender body, a tall body, a short body, any one of them is the best. All of them are perfect. And I hope that you can accept that about yourself, that your body is perfect. And as you grow, it will continue to be perfect because it's yours. It's you, and there's no other. So for whoever's listening in, I hope you can accept that today, as Samara and Dariel said. It doesn't change your value. It doesn't change your value. Any other thoughts, guys? Like personal experiences?
Social media. I'd say that realizing that what you see on camera is not what is in real life, it is eye-opening, and it just allows you to shrug off whatever you may seem, because you don't look like that, but it's okay, because you still look beautiful how you look, and you don't need to be a copy and paste version of everything you see online, because that is the beauty standards that's constantly changing.
I love that. You don't have to be a copy and paste version. I love that. The one thing I love about is authenticity. I like to be me. Always did, right? And like Sanae will explore with different looks. Like, yeah, I get to see her pictures, and she explores with all the different looks, and I love that. It's like I give myself permission.
There's only one you. So if somebody tells you, oh, I don't like what you're wearing today, or I don't like how that looks on you, I mean, yeah, sure, you can take that advice, but again, who else is going to make you happy but you? At the end of the day, you have temporary moments of happiness from other people, but if you want a continued lifetime worth of happiness, it's only going to come from yourself. All right, only about what you believe about yourself, what you do to yourself. All right, all of that comes from you. All right, so it's not about other people's perspective of you, it's your own perspective of you.
And that's another place that we sometimes trip up. Because when your perspective of you now just comes from what you made up in your mind,
exactly,
what you think, you put in all the pieces together of who you think was successful, who you think gets the most applause and gets the most attention, and you have these ideas in your head, and which movie where the person just simply everybody was about them, right? If you get your who you think you are and what makes you happy from that, you're still gonna get into some issues. But if you could kind of ground that on what God said about you, who God said, like who nobody could change it. If He said it, that's it. You can't change that. And He says things like, listen, you're perfectly, wonderfully, beautifully made. Like, I see you, I love you. Before you were in your mother's womb. Like, He says stuff like that, right? Like, I'm in love with you, right? Like, from you rise in the morning, I'm watching over you. I have angels and I have set charge over you. Like that kind of love, right? He don't play with it, right? So if He says something, then nobody else could top that. And so if we can let our source for what we think is our worth come from something bigger than even what we think.
Yeah.
Let it come from what God thinks, and I think we won't lose. Because I can tell you, even as an adult, and Dariel is like, you guys, you're all amazing, because even as an adult, I can tell you, I've been in situations where I have found my self-assuredness being shaken, right? Over time, you go into certain groups, and sometimes there are cliques. People, you go into something, and people were there before you. So they got their set of friends, and so you come and you're different. You may be a little humble, or you may not have certain things like other people. And so they put you in a box. Oh, she's just that, and she could just, we could use her to do this, but she can't, like if we having a really special meeting or a party or outing or something fancy, you don't necessarily have to invite her. I've been in that, and I've been in it to a point where, here it is, but I'd like to know, where it was people who I was investing my heart into, like I was in it to serve and to be a part of the big picture and to be a part of the team. But then I found out after years that, hey, they don't really count you like you count them. And that kind of messed with my mind a little bit and my heart. And there was a time when I started to just like, I distanced myself from them, but I still kept a negative in my heart. And I had to realize, hey, you can't make people love you. You can't change people. But I had to say, you know what, God, for whatever reason, it was what it was, but I'm still gonna love. I'm gonna forgive. I don't understand why it is like that, but I'm gonna forgive and I'm gonna love. And guess what, guys? You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm gifted. You know, I'm special. I'm valuable. I am irreplaceable. I learned all those bulls, boy. Listen, I let my situation make me better, and I just hope everybody else can do the same thing. But sometimes, when it's someone you actually do want to count you and credit you, how does that feel? When like someone out there, it may be a parent, like it may be your dad or your mom, and you're like, I wish they saw me. And they don't. How does that affect your assurance about yourself when it's someone who you really want to count? Your best friend. You grew up and then all of a sudden in 6th grade they change on you, or like, what is that like when it's really someone you want to count you?
I guess I'd say it would be disheartening because you thought so highly of this person. You thought that they had the same level of respect for you, when in all actuality, you were just there for a season. You were temporary to them. But that should be fine because self-assuredness is not you. They want to go their own way. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. So once you have that, you wouldn't blame yourself for someone leaving you, because at the end of the day, it's not your fault and it wouldn't make you less lovable.
I got it. So people, as we talk about the conversation, then we have to understand that it's season, reason, lifetime. Some people in your life for a season, some just here just for today for a reason, and then there'll be the lifetime one. So don't take it personal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
To remind yourself that that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. How do you feel?
I feel like it's very disappointing, as Dariel said, to be let down by somebody who you really looked up to, who you really thought that you can count on in all kinds of like situations. I would just feel, I'd be horrified if it was me.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How would you, at this point, because we're all developing, and that's why we're here at SheEmpowHers, because we're learning how to find the tools when it's hard. But at this time, what do? Do you kind of maybe go into the room, cave in, go to sleep, don't want to get up? I don't know. What you find maybe your methods are now?
My methods right now are praying about it. I open my Bible, I read. I find trust in God. I find my faith in God to be really comforting. And so I put all my problems into His hands, as He told me to. And so I ask Him to help me with everything I need help with. If I'm struggling with something, I put it in God's hands. I say, God, please help me with this. Jesus, please help me with this. I beg Him, I cry, and I just ask Him to take it away from me, this cup of suffering, so that I can just go on with my day and I can live a normal life.
Wow. I don't know if you guys heard that. So some of you are like, oh yeah, right. Yeah. This girl
Sure.
trying to bully me and fight me, and she all about talking about me, and you talking about I must pray about it and read my Bible. Say, hey, don't hit it till you try it. Don't knock it until you try it. And then you let us know on the next show. You can write us and let us know what happened when for real that person or that situation that was really keeping you upset and angry a lot, and you really did what Samara did, even if you had to cry when you were praying, God, please help me. Let me know if it worked. I have a feeling what your answer gonna be, but like I said, don't knock it till you try it.
I'll be honest, a good cry is needed. Sometimes it is needed.
Okay, so
you said something earlier when you said, even as an adult, a lot of people put you in a box, or even they count you out for a lot of things, or they don't see you, or they don't see your value.
yeah.
Now, how old are you, Dariel?
16.
So you're 16 and you're
17.
you guys are 16 and 17, still in high school. All right, so you guys well, yes, you're also dealing with adults, but mostly you're dealing with other children, all right? Not yet as developed as adults who still do that to this day.
Yeah.
All right. So again, you guys, a lot of times you guys count on the friends around you, or you count on the people around you to help you, maybe with decisions, maybe with choices. You guys ask your friends for help, right? For the decisions you make.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So at your age, sometimes you guys have to make big decisions.
Yeah.
Like right now, you guys seniors. All right. So the next decision you're making is what? College. You guys have exams.
That's a big thing, big deal.
Yeah. How are you guys feeling in that with your like decision making? How do you feel like within yourself?
I feel as if decisions,
Yeah.
I can ask you for your input, but I get the final say in what you give me as as what you suggest me to do. So if you're suggesting me something that I believe is nice, I can do it. But if it's something that's going to harm me in the long run, it's going to hurt me, that's illegal, that's not going to help me out, and that's not going to help you out either, I can also convince you not to do that. Because if you're convincing me to do it, you might also consider doing it yourself. So I would ask you not to do that, and I would do it myself.
Wow. Wow, I love that. You're open to counsel, you're teachable, but you take time to really look at consequences, causes. I love that. I love that.
Isn't that what we call but standing on business?
Yes.
Okay. Love that.
I'd say you could ask anyone for advice to make any choice, but at the end of the day, God has the final say. So while you can ask this person to make this decision, it might not go how you want it to go. But like Samara said, it is nice to have good counsel. But if the person that's giving you this counsel, they're not making much sense, and their counsel is essentially bad, it's not helpful, it'll lead you towards a more destructive path, then you should just take them with a grain of salt. I'll come back to you on that, and just pray on it, or find someone who's more wiser.
I love it. Well, have you all been in any situation where perhaps even in a classroom where somebody they have a natural gift of leadership, but they're misusing it. So they try to get everyone to rally to do something that they shouldn't be doing. Have you seen that? Do you experience that?
I have.
What do you usually do in the moment when like it's becoming the popular thing for everybody to do that, whatever the issue may be, the thing that they're trying to promote?
Sometimes you just have to side.
Just
Sometimes, like, you can just tune into that. You can tune into what everyone else is doing. It could potentially throw you off. So it's more important to focus on your own goals or what you feel is important. And if you know what they're talking about is foolish, then it would be in your better judgment to ignore it.
I like that. I like that. And so basically what we got to learn in here in lunchtime conversations is we have to predetermine some things. To be self-assured, you got to know some things in advance, know it's the truth for yourself, and then when the situations arise day to day, try to refer to it and stand on the business that you said, no, this is me. This is what I know is best for me from how my parents taught, what God says, what the Bible says, what common sense says. That's bad advice, and I don't need to do what everybody else is doing in order to be accepted, and to be a leader. As Samara said, sometimes I could even help somebody who by their own perspective or thinking something is good could actually damage themselves. So self-assurance can actually help you be a good leader among your peers. Yeah. Okay, so just close us up today.
Oh,
Oh, you
Okay.
got something else?
oh no.
Because hey, let's put it out there, because we could always come back to it if we need to. Because I believe, had someone given me some of this conversation earlier, some of the fights I could have avoided. Some of the contention.
Okay.
It's up to you.
So we will close up on this last thought. So I wanted to have this conversation about self-assurance and being perfect, all right? Because I know I'm not perfect. I know I mess up. I know sometimes myself I have low self-esteem on certain areas of my life that I am working on. Again, so while I know I can be self-assured in some areas, there are some areas that I am still working on. But I know that there are aspects that I am trusting myself to grow. What about you guys as well? What areas do you think you're trusting yourself to grow in?
Just myself in my academics, spiritual, leadership, communication. There are a lot of areas where I need to grow, and I trust myself and the Lord to help me guide me in those areas, because I really do need to improve, and I am open to any suggestions or anything that I need to be taught.
I love it, and by being in SheEmpowHers, you have put yourself in the position to grow in those areas and so much more. So, way to go.
I feel like Samara just really picked my brain with what she said. But I do agree with everything she said, because there are some areas that I do need to work on, and I would love to grow as a person, be better at things that I am good at, but just be greater at it, being better than I was, instead of just being stagnant and being okay with where I'm at, because it's not bad. It isn't bad, but it could be better. You could be greater if you just decide not to be comfortable with where you're at the moment. You don't have to stay stagnant. You could move forward.
Yes. Growth.
So
Journey. Sorry.
yes, love it. Yes, again. So again, I also want to leave you guys off with that thought. What are you trusting yourself, or what areas are you trusting yourself to grow in? All right, so we're ending this lunchtime conversation here, but before we go, I also want to end on the fact that SheEmpowHers, again, the nonprofit organization, ages 14 to 18, all right? The enrollment portal closes soon. It closes this January 20th, I believe. All right, so if you are interested in joining the enrollment, you can go to the website SheEmpowHer, so SheEmpowHer.com. You can go on and you can apply. So enrollment ends this January because our program soon begins. All right. SheEmpowHer.com, or you can call 827-7268. So you can call that number, but mostly apply online. All right, use the application form. Apply online for ages 14 to 18 to be enrolled in the program. If you are not that age, if you are not at the age of 14 to 18, you can also join our 7 to 13 age group. So that age group focuses more on academics. And then we have an older age group, 19 to 23, because we are looking for mentors or people who want to volunteer, give their thoughts, their opinions as well. But here we're talking to the high schoolers, and we love to hear their opinions. So we really, truly enjoyed today, and we thank you so much, Samara, Moxey, and Dariel Curry, for giving your thoughts on this lunchtime conversation.
Remember, you can tune in every Monday when Sanaa will present a topic that you will be able to add in your opinions and your thoughts that we will share on the show. That's right, if you send your audio, even your videos, we will share your thoughts and opinions on air at Clearwater's Radio and on our website at the Claire Sphere. That's SPHERE.com, theclairesphere.com. And we are here to broadcast, to support, and to help in the growth of media and communications for nonprofits, for community service organizations, and for faith-based service organizations and initiatives. And so this was an absolutely enlightening, powerful, enjoyable time. I'm so happy for SheEmpowHers' work And remember, the portal closes for registration soon. So if you're an aunt, a teacher, a mentor, a group, an association listening in, be sure to get your girls between 14 and 18 in, registered on the website, because there is a selection process, all right? So be sure to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity, and we will talk to you again next week. Thank you for joining us. Guys, you were great. You were awesome.